Well, hey guys, this is DK Spencer, this guy. So we're going to take this Byrna LE here, and we're going to install this Mercy Less Lethal 12 gram adapter. That's going to get rid of this lower rail section here, and this, we're going to make it look a lot nicer. It's going to work a lot better too, so just stay tuned. This will be fun. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure it's unloaded. Nothing in there, nothing in there. And most importantly, nothing in there. Whee! Alright, so why do you want to change the factory LE boost mechanism, whatever they want to call it? Why do you want to change that with a Mercy Less Lethal one? Well, I'll explain. There's two main reasons. Well, three. All right. Number one, when you have this plastic piece here that they use to hold the CO2 in, it is, like I just said, a plastic piece here to hold the CO2 in. When you replace it with this, then everything is metal, not plastic. So the reason this plastic matters is because when you put your CO2 in there and then you tighten this down, you're holding plastic against metal. A lot of times it doesn't seal well. You get leaks when you actually pull the trigger and pierce it. So you have to really tighten the heck out of this. Well, you don't really know. There's a fine line between too tight and not tight enough. So anyway, I mean, I guess it's better to definitely have it tighter than loose, because you don't want to lose air. But so anyway, the big thing, my big pet peeve with it, is that the rail on any normal pistol is flush with the bottom of the slide here, or the bottom of the frame, I mean. Your plastic piece here spaces it down like a ½ an inch, so it spaces any of your accessories down a ½ an inch. So whenever you put on a tactical light, you're literally having to reach down to cut it on instead of straight out like you should. And, it just looks kind of dumb too. So anyway, and then the other reason is looks in general. If you're not going to put an accessory on it or whatever, it's just going to look a lot smoother and more realistic and not odd when you do this. So, it's pretty simple to do. I've done a couple of videos with these, so you've probably already seen this if you're somebody that's watched my channel for a long time. Don't do them very often, so probably a little rusty. So it might get, it might get interesting. We'll see. But first of all, you take those two little screws out, and actually three. All right, so take those three out, and then you're going to take the very end ones completely out, just like that. And then you can just peel that apart. There you go. So now if you wanted to at this point, you can actually now put a 8 gram CO2 in it. So it'd be just like a long barreled version of the SD or the HD. So you can do that. Alright, now when you pull the trigger, notice the barrel does retract, so that's interesting. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to pull this little rod out. There's a little groove there. You can stick something down in there and get a hold of it. Once you get a hold of it, you want to pull it straight out, okay? Don't bend that guy. Now, and I hope I'm doing this in the right order. Yeah, you can go ahead and do this. Whenever you do this, there's two tiny little springs underneath that little door there. There's two. They are very small. So make sure, do not lose those guys. Okay? Now, at this point, you can go ahead and unscrew that one. And unscrew that one. Okay? Now, this is where it gets a little trickier. Not very tricky, don't get me wrong, but here's where you got to pay attention. You do not unscrew anything else the rest of the way, okay? Don't do it. All right, at this point, we are simply, what we're working to do is to separate this plastic enough to get the factory piece out and put this piece in. So it's going to line up like that, and it's going to stick out the length of the barrel. Okay, so we're going to turn that one a little bit. So that's 2 full turns on each one of those is what I did, I believe. All right, now try to leave everything, try not to mess up more than you have to. This one back here, you definitely want to be careful with. We're going to loosen it about a half a turn, okay? And then we're just going to start kind of pulling this apart a little bit. There is a groove right there. So you can take a flat head and get that to separate just a wee bit. Get that to separate just a wee bit. Just to get it started. See where I'm going there? All right. And all you got to do is just work with that. I like to stick my finger down in there and just kind of jiggle it like that. All right, once you get that out, you're just going to go immediately and put this one right back in its place. All right, and make sure your holes line up. All right, now go ahead, before you tighten anything back up or do anything, go ahead and pull your trigger a little bit. And if it is like this one, really rough, or you push that and it doesn't move very well, that means you've got it off track a little bit. All right. There it goes. So just mess with it a little bit until you get it, everything back in the notches. Okay, it should be very smooth like that. All right, once you have that smooth, go ahead and tighten this one back down. Tighten these two back down. Just snug them up, you don't have to go crazy with them yet. But just make sure you don't put it back together until you manipulate this a little bit and get it back in the tracks. And it's hard to show you guys what I'm talking about, but there's little grooves down in there. When you're looking at it in person, you can see them. But anyway, you'll figure it out. You can feel it. You can feel it going in. You can feel it. You can massively feel the difference. All right. So once we do that, then we're going to go ahead, put these guys back in. Every time you tighten something, check to make sure it's still smooth. Alright, so we're groovy there. No pun intended. Alright, so now, it's probably the trickiest part of it. Not that bad, but, you know. You've got this little door here, this little indicator, whatever you want to call it. So it's going to fit down in just like that, alright? Now that's how it's going to be once we put it together, alright? So you've got these two little holes here, okay? That's where these tiny little screws go, or springs go. Screws, good Lord. Alright, so they're going to sit down just like that. And you're not going to be lucky enough to be able to put it in there and then set it down. But if you look on the bottom side of this guy, you've got little indentations where those screws go as well. So you can very carefully, I'm trying to do it where you guys can see, but you can very carefully set those little indentations on top of those little springs. And there's little indentations where, let me show you. You've got these little indentations here as well, right here and here, right behind the springs. And get back up here. And that's where these little guys sit, right? So it's kind of self-explanatory. If you look at it, you see exactly where everything's supposed to go. So you're going to just gently set it on top of there. And then you're going to take this guy and you're going to set it on top gently and push down. Now, here's what I suggest doing. I suggest taking a magazine, putting the ball in it, holding this down like this, holding the top so it doesn't move, going ahead and loading it, making sure because this is your loading indicator, make sure that pops up, release your mag, make sure your ball stays in until you push that down, then it should fall out. If all that happens, you're in the right place, keep holding it, and you're going to pick your wire, whatever piece thing this is, back up. Wow, this one's sharpened. They're not usually sharp like that. At least I don't remember them being. So you're going to very carefully start that back in these two holes here. Push one side a little bit, then the other side, just like that. Do not get in a hurry and try to push it from the back and bend it, or you will be in trouble. Just a little bit at a time on each side. Now once you get that close, you can go ahead and do it. Push that guy up. Use something to push it till it's all the way in. And you're done. That's it. I mean, seriously. All right, part 2. And this is the easiest of all. You get your Mercy Less Lethal comp, and it very simply press fits. You can't really put it on wrong. Pop that baby on like that, and you're good to go. Then, obviously you put your CO2 in, whatever. Like I say, that just press fits. If you take it off, it's not going to stay on as well once you put it back on. He's updated that a little bit since the last one I got. That looks good. So I also suggest that you take all these here parts, screw everything back together as best as you can, put it in a bag so you remember how it goes. It's pretty self-explanatory how it goes, but anyway, put everything together. Obviously you're going to reuse your CO2 cap, but put all this stuff back together, put it in a bag and save it. If you ever have to send it back for a warranty issue or whatever, obviously you're going to want to change all that back out. Yeah, just saying. And then I guess last we could put a Hogue grip on it and just kind of completely show how to really do it. So let's go ahead and screw this guy in so it looks right. Whoa. Boom. Now, oops, sorry. So different people do different things. I am a nurse practitioner, so I'm kind of fond of hand sanitizer, so that's what I use. So you do want to get your magazine out to do this. Obviously it goes like this, the fat part at the fat part back here. Put your little hand sanitizer in it. I put it on the back like that. Use this finger to hold it in place. Stretch it and get it started. Flip it around. Hold my finger here and pull it like that. Switch it around. And you just keep kind of doing that till you get it all the way on. It's easier to do if you're not trying to knock the table over. Or trying not to knock the table over. Okay. It doesn't go all the way up. You want enough room for a finger, all right? So you don't squeeze it all the way up to there if you don't have to. Actually, I think on these you kind of got to get it a little ways though. Yeah, just like that. Check your seam. Make sure your seam is centered. While the hand sanitizer is still a little wet, you can move it a little bit if you need to. And there's that. Alright, so now you can put you on a TLR1HL. Boom. Balder Pro R, or my personal favorite, a PL3 Valkyrie. Tighten that baby down. Now you can see your light is flush with the bottom of your trigger guard. You don't have to reach down to cut it on. Instead of, I mean, that's awkward to have to reach down that far. Some lights it's not as bad, like it's a little easier on one of these probably than it is one of these, but looks, everything looks better, feels better, all that. And much better seal with your CO2. So there you go. I'll try to put links for all this stuff. Well, some of it. Who knows? Whatever. I'll do what I want. Alright guys, this is DK Spencer. Y'all make sure to like and subscribe. And I'll catch you on the next one.